Hi. As you might be able to tell, I'm a huge fan of sleeping accessories. So I have my nasal strip right here, and I have my earplugs. Hot orange is my favorite color. And the last but not least, the one and only, the Snuggie. You just really can't beat it. Now this one I think is maybe not a Snuggie. I think it might be called a Huggy. It's a Snuggie with a hood on it. And I highly recommend it. So I don't know if you're as much of a fan of sleep accessories as I am, but that's what I'm going to talk about today, and a little bit of maybe how we can look at it differently. So you may know the answer to this, but I'm gonna phrase it like this to kind of go over a few facts about you know what. So if it takes you more than 5 minutes to do this, you're probably deprived of this. Ideally, it takes 10 to 15 minutes. The lack of this costs the US economy up to $411 billion a year. We are the only mammals that willingly delay this. Going without this for 16 hours straight decreases your performance as much as if your blood alcohol level were 0.05%, so just under the legal limit. Not getting this is likely to make you hungry as levels of leptin, an appetite regulating hormone, fall. Adults between 18 and 64 need 7 to 9 hours of this. Adults over 65 need 7 to 8 hours of this. I'm sure you already guessed it, sleep. And here's another fact I had to share, another couple facts. Today, 75% of us dream in color. Before color television, just 15% of us did. And one more fact I have to share because it's just so cute. Sea otters hold hands when they sleep so they don't drift away from each other. So definitely the cutest fact I've ever heard about sleep. So to think about sleep a little differently, what sleep is, it's a type of circadian rhythm that our body kind of really does for us if we listen to it. So circadian rhythms make sure the body's processes are optimized throughout the day. So light exposure in the daytime kind of triggers the circadian rhythm, tells it to generate alertness, wakefulness, and activity. Nighttime tells our body to make melatonin, something we naturally make, a hormone that promotes sleep and keeps us asleep. So the sleep-wake cycle is a circadian rhythm that's meant for our overall good. So a question I have for you, what disrupts your sleep-wake circadian rhythm? You know, maybe it's just you're not getting enough outdoors time. Maybe you're outdoors between the time you're indoors, but are you intentionally planning something outdoors? Are you going hiking? Are you getting your sunlight? That not doing that could be disruptive to your circadian rhythm and your sleep-wake cycle. Are you planning your sleep schedule? Like, do you know when you're going to fall asleep, or you're going to begin that process every night? Do you have a regular time every morning you wake up? Now, it can be different here and there, maybe on Saturday mornings or Sundays, but something that's more than not the regular pattern of your week. Is that something you have planned? If it's not, that could be disrupting kind of your natural circadian rhythm cycle. Are you exercising regularly? So when I say regularly, it could be whatever exercise is exercise to you. Could be running, walking, could be a CrossFit workout, could be running a half marathon, whatever really is fitting to you. But at least doing it 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes at a time. Actually, regular exercise will make you sleep better. It'll help you stay asleep, because what part of the sleep cycle is helping your muscles get more blood and restoring them. And when you need that to happen, that kind of helps sleep occur. Or maybe something that disrupts your sleep is caffeine. Maybe it's an energy drink, a cup of coffee. But if you're drinking caffeine after 6 p.m. or if you're drinking it, less than 5 hours before you're going to sleep, it's probably still in your system and it's probably still going to be disruptive to your sleep. So just being mindful of when you're doing that. That might be something you're already noticing. Naps. So naps could be disruptive to your sleep. And I mean, there's nothing better than a good nap. I agree, but anything more than 30 minutes can really be disruptive to your circadian rhythm, and just understanding what time of day it is. Your body kind of gets thrown off. Its ability to kind of sense and understand and listen to itself that way gets kind of thrown off in a bit. So yeah, are you taking a nap, and is it a power nap or is it a 2-hour nap? So kind of knowing which is helpful. One of them isn't. Or maybe all of those really haven't disrupted your sleep too much. Maybe it's a little bit of that, like a little bit of caffeine, you can still go to bed. Maybe it's an irregular sleeping pattern, but you're still sleeping well. But I would say that this thing is something that we all have experienced being detrimental to our sleep. Just screens and going to bed with our screens, whether it's a tablet or a phone. And not even knowing it. Sometimes it's attached to your hand and you've carried it all day and used it all day, and it just kind of seems to come right up with you into the bed. But this could be certainly something that is disrupting, highly disrupting your sleep. So I don't know if you've heard this, but what is blue light? So what it is it's artificial light emitted by screens that can confuse our daily sleep-wake cycle, leading us to feel wide awake when we really should be drifting off to sleep. So it's artificial light from our phones, from our devices that messes up our rhythm, messes up our sleep-wake cycle. It kind of tells us that all of a sudden we're awake. And when that melatonin was telling us something different. So it kind of mixed communication with our phones and what it's telling us when we're using it at night, or definitely in our bed. So Apple, I don't know if it was the last couple like iOS updates, but they did something where they have a wake up only schedule you can do, and many of you may know of it or be using it. So what it's really doing, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's creating, like this one, for example, 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. is my schedule. So what it does is it says from that time, when the phone is used, it's going to warm up the colors. It's going to reduce the amount of blue light that it's going to disrupt your sleep. So that's fine and good. That's good that it does that. But it's probably best not to have it with you at all, and you can easily bypass it and move it and start using your phone and kind of scrolling and opening apps and doing whatever you need to do, or you're used to doing. So it's only helpful so much. But if you were to get a message and you looked at your phone, I guess what Apple is trying to do is it doesn't affect your sleep. So Apple knows what these screens are doing to us. And I would probably consider them an expert on that. So what are the two types of sleep and how do they help us? So the first type is REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. Many of you know what that is and have heard of it. And it's 25% of our sleep, on a good night's sleep. So your muscles become very relaxed, your body becomes immobile, your body temperature drops, heart rate and breathing slow, provides energy to your brain and your body. So it sounds pretty important. Physiological stages that help boost your immune system occur during the deepest REM sleep. So this has really stood out to me because there's a point where not only does it provide energy, restore your brain, your body, but it actually boosts your immune system, which is pretty cool. The second type of sleep is in REM, or non-rapid eye movement sleep. There's 3 or 4 stages. So the first stage is light sleep, between being awake and falling asleep. You're kind of there, maybe you're not even quite dozing off, but you can kind of feel it coming. Stage 2 is the onset of sleep. So becoming disengaged from your surroundings, dozing off, breathing and heart rate become regular. Stages 3 and 4 is your physical restorative sleep, or delta sleep, where muscles receive more blood supply to them, your tissues grow and repair, and hormones are released. So, if you're still developing, if you're 26 or younger, or definitely as a teenager, you need more sleep then, but the hormones are still happening. There's things that need to happen while you're sleeping that cannot happen unless you're sleeping. So these are really really interesting on how amazing our body is when we allow it to be, when we give it rest, when we surrender to it. So here are some effects of the lack of sleep. Just some general ones. You may add to this as I'm reading it, but poor attention, concentration, memory, irritability, mood disturbances, emotional dysregulation, impaired judgment and reaction time, poor physical coordination, affects levels of neurotransmitters and stress hormones, and really just wreaks havoc in your brain. So I don't know if you're reading those things, and I'm sure you've experienced all of these maybe to an extent, but I would say it probably doesn't sound like who you really are. And not giving us a chance to sleep really kind of robs us of who we really are. None of these things are who you are. It's really who you are when you don't sleep, which is not your true self. Things that are known to make sleep worse: napping during the day, 30 minutes or more, sharing a bed with your screens, consuming drinks containing caffeine 5 hours or less before bedtime, tea, coffee, cola, energy drinks, hot chocolate even contains caffeine. Drinking alcohol can be really disruptive to your sleep. Eating heavy meals less than 3 hours before bedtime. Staying in bed even if you can't fall asleep. So this is interesting because sometimes if you can't fall asleep more than 5 minutes, it means you may be sleep deprived, but it also it's probably best to get up and get moving or do something relaxing. Not get moving too much, but do something relaxing and kind of begin the wind down process again. Maybe it's a book. Definitely not a screen if you're wanting to do this, wanting to go to sleep well, but then try again when you're ready. So that might seem overwhelming, a list that you have to do. Not a list you have to do, but what stands out to you there? Is there one thing you're like, that's a tweak I can make? And I'd be really interested to see what that tweak would do for me, and see what happens. Here are some things that are known to improve sleep. Regular exercise, at least 3 times per week for at least 30 minutes. It's not best to exercise right before bed or to do it intensely right before bed. Setting aside time, some worry time, and that can look different than journaling, but each day to write down some issues that are bothering or concerning to you, then deciding to leave those worries behind until tomorrow, at least 1 hour before bedtime. So doing that no more than no less than an hour before bedtime. Relaxation exercises. So if you go on to the Center for Wholeness and Wellness website and to our resources for the Center of Counseling, there's some great breathing exercises that are brought, even scripts or audio of someone guiding you through that. Progressive muscle relaxation. So where you kind of go and you're kind of in tune with your body and you're noticing kind of your different muscles, the parts of your body, you're giving them some tension, then you're releasing, and then you're feeling the relaxation and the difference between that. It's just really, you're just kind of practicing winding down using your own body, or having a relaxing bedtime routine. So having something you do regularly, or more or less something that you can rely on. So taking a shower or reading a comforting book, and avoiding things like caffeine in your phone, hours before bedtime. So those are some of the things that help. Those are the things that you probably already know that hurt. But I wonder if thinking about sleep differently, as maybe it's an opportunity to kind of get in tune with a rhythm you already have within you, something that God made the night and day, and it was good, and it is good, and your body knows that. But if all of that fails, there's always the Snuggie. So as seen on TV, you can get it at Walmart. Give that a try if nothing else works. Thanks.